Yeah, I just want to remind people, there's this whole trust the science, and it's kind of like there's some people that you can trust that you cannot trust them. Okay, science on a historical level has been very duplicitous. Science and medical technology, convenience, these things all go hand in hand. In a way, they're all working together in concert and concurrently. So basically, it's like you can go to, like, let's say the old asylums. Okay, they literally were like medieval. Like they would dunk people in water and like really do these very torturous, like shock them. They would give them like heavy doses of different drugs, dude, to see what it would do to people. Like, look, like they basically had a free for all. They could, once you get so hemmed up into the science that they can basically do whatever they want with you, and they don't even really consider you a human. They kind of look at you. It's very eugenics. Eugenics is basically is a whole science of um, categorizing people in kind of biased, derogatory, uh, prejudiced ways. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, they've been caught giving people diseases and sitting back and watching what happens to them, like tuskegee experiment. You got there was in somewhere, man, like in a government housing project, they freaking sprayed radiation in the freaking, like, the air ducts, and the doctors were in on it, and they were studying the people and seeing what the effects. And this is part of the, when they say something like biological defense, that could be a legalese kind of statement where that defense means we got to kill off people that we perceive as inferior, but maybe they're really not inferior. Maybe we just need to say that to sell the idea that we need to take these people out covertly. But instead of just wasting it, I mean, here's the thing, dude. They treat us like we are lower than dirt, like we are animals, like we ain't worth anything. But, dude, if they chopped up our bodies and sold the organs, it would be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, possibly even millions. So look, they could cut a human being up, literally, and sell him piece by piece, and he's worth massive amounts of money. Even a human being used as a sex slave, that's either male or female, their body can be used over and over and over again for a long period of time, and a lot of money can be generated from that person. So they're selling you the idea that you're worthless, that you're just scum of the earth and you ain't worth anything, but it's not true. If you really get scientific about it and break it down and even see how you could be used and sacrificed to science, for science, you see that the science, I trust the science is freaking savage, and it has always been. You can look at the MK Ultra experiments. This was science, okay? They've been caught like hitting people with microwaves in embassies and causing them to have disease, and they would basically die and have like crazy occurrences happen, like with their health. Like their health would radically decline for no apparent reason, invisible reason. This is science. This is trust the science. Look, I trust real science, true science, but I don't trust people who they claim are scientists. And look, you can't trust it all. That's just being like gullible. That's being naive, because historically, the Nazis, man, they used the medical system and for scientific purposes. They literally scienced people to death, like literally. Like, look, and unfortunately, this nation, and it has many of the same kind of things go on in it. But they hired the Nazi medical people and scientists in the Operation Paperclip, and they're here in America, and they have been for generations, dude. They were behind the freaking whole moon landing thing, the rockets and stuff, and the American rocket scientists were straight up Satanists, occultists, and that's known. You can look that up and see that that's just not conjecture. That's just not my opinion. That's not just my bias. That's just the historically accurate factoid. So, and it's like, there's this one guy, he said it was easier back in the day through their sophisticated brainwashing techniques, which is a science. Brainwashing, mind control, America and the world, every human being that has lived for probably since the beginning of time has been subjected to MK Ultra, mind control, because before they coined it mind control or MK Ultra, mind control always existed. It was called persuasion, lying, suggestion, intimidation, freaking these oppression. Look, these are all subtle forms of mind control as well. But this dude said basically, 100 years ago, because people didn't have the internet, and even though they had the printing press, there was a lot of people that still were just smart enough to do their trade or operate the machine. And besides that, they didn't. That's really to the extent they wanted people to be. So a lot of people were illiterate. But in our day and time, with the internet, all the archives, all the historical documentation, to some extent, a lot of it's out there. A lot of it's declassified. They're kind of scrubbing it off the net. They're keeping it on the low. But, you can find... but in this day and age, it says it's easier just to kill 1 million people than it is to try to control them anymore. But that's the thing. They're not just... look, dude. It costs them money to put a bullet in you, dude. But the Nazi scientists, once again, were working people to death and using their body parts, like literally taking their skin and making like leather furniture out of it, and weird occultic domination type of like straight up, that's occultism, that's necromancy. And also, look, dude. The mystical, the hoodoo voodoo taboo is science as well, dude. It's a science, and actual science now is based on all the ancient medieval hoodoo voodoo taboo. And that's historically, once again, that's sound, that's accurate. You can really see that there is a lot of sorcery and chemistry. People who have like ESP psychic abilities and stuff like that, they used to do that, they used to, spiritists have similar powers supposedly, but the science that is such a legalese term where it's semantics. It sounds good on the surface, but look, in another way, that soft disclosure, the devil is straight up telling you who they are when they come in, and you just don't know it. They've desensitized and sanitized the word and changed the meaning and the structure of the word, and have depleted the real meaning and the real power behind where where it comes from. And literally, historically, you can follow it back. And look, it has been a pretty oppressive, it's been a scientific dictatorship has been going on in the earth, man, for at least the last 100 years. They've really advanced in technology, and with technology, so has advanced their sophisticated ways to kill people, harm people, and that's the same thing. Say some scientist developed a weapon. Well, I want to know how this works on human beings. That's why you're worth money. Now they put a hit on you. They pay some guy to test the weapon on you, so they can see the results, and they will pay people to do it covertly on you, so they can get the data. And look, dude, look how the scientists treat animals, dude. Look, do you remember that story, The Secret of Nim, where they're jabbing the rats, and then these rats seems to me like they were injecting human type intelligences inside of rats. I mean, it was a fictional 80s movie, but this was a real experiment. And all this hype about overpopulation comes from the rat studies. I forgot what the exact name of it was, but this is more trust the science, and the science is bunk. Like historically, like listen, dude. I mean, is all science bunk? No, but most of it really is, and it's agreed upon lie, just like history. And they're commonly believed misconceptions. It's for surely our fathers inherited lies. Uh, and I mean, there may be good people in the field that are trying to do some right, but look, that's the same thing as thinking that you can just somehow change the system from within. You can't. They're just look. It's the whole spit on the cross, don't spit on the cross. They're using your good intentions and your good pillar of the community like persona to sell that the science is good because you represent science because you're a so-called philanthropist type. But these other guys, the backers, the money guys, are at the same time they're funding both sides of the war. You got these guys, oh, I made breakthroughs in healing shit. But who created the disease? You would blame it on genetics or something. This is another scapegoat. Blame the victim type of a thing that they do. But they literally have been poisoning people for forever. I mean, it's a war tactic, and sometimes it is not absurd. It's not out of. It's not like it has never happened before, where the governments became. They considered their own population